creating, I feel like I'm going through many emotions and stages. But what I love to reach is some kind of flow state where the challenge of what I'm doing, it matches my ability and my ability to make it beautiful and do it well. And because the processes are quite repetitive, you find yourself sort of switching off a little and getting into a very calm meditative state, because your brain is able to hand over the work to your hands, and they are almost learning to do the same thing repeatedly and do it well. So it is a very therapeutic state to be in. And because geometry demands of me just that little bit of intellect and, I'm thinking carefully about each step, any problems you have, they have no space in your mind. They have to be pushed out. So you are allowed to and able to just My name is Samira Mian. I'm an artist and I'm an educator, and I specialize in Islamic geometric patterns. I've always enjoyed art and I've always enjoyed mathematics. I thought one would be my job and one would be my hobby. So in my studies and in my career, they were separate. And then in 2013, I started a course with Art of Islamic Pattern that's run by Adam Williamson and Richard Henry. And I realized there's this art form that has all of the things I love within it. So the geometric patterns, the mathematics of that, the creative ways we can render these patterns, the history of where they're from and where you can find them in architecture and in manuscripts. So when I discovered this world of patterns, I didn't realize at the time, but it really changed my career and my life. So when I started learning in 2013, there wasn't necessarily a formal place I could learn from. So it was like finding maybe some books, people sharing on the internet, on social media, experts from all over the world who maybe practice this art form as a hobby, as an interest, some in a more professional capacity, in a more academic setting, but actually it's something like a subject that falls between subjects. So it's not something that people studied academically in maths so much. It's not something that they studied technically in terms of the art. So I was finding resources from many different people from all over the world, but mostly on the internet, and some books. And since I've been studying and practicing this art form, it's grown, and there are more books available, there are more resources available, and I myself have made resources as well. When you are a creative, you are drawn to things, and sometimes you can understand or explain why, and other times you can't. So I've always been drawn to pattern, and I've always been drawn to this idea of just creating something repetitive. I'm not very good at drawing still life or portraiture or landscape. These things, if I maybe practiced and I was interested in, I could maybe be better at. But with geometric patterns, because we have tools, and I'm good at, using those tools and following the steps and understanding it, it's something that I was interested in already, but then became better at. And then that's a really powerful combination, because you then can see yourself progressing and being interested and keeping interested in this subject matter. I love that my artwork allows me to explicitly, clearly celebrate my religion and the contributions it's made to, culture and intellect and design and beauty. I think sometimes these things aren't given enough time and attention. So often we as Muslims, we don't necessarily know our own rich heritage. We know elements of it, but we don't know the extent of how great people in the past were. So for me as a Muslim, I'm visibly a Muslim. My artworks are described as Islamic geometric patterns. I think this is important for me because I live in the West, I live in London, so I don't want to use words that make it seem something else. I want to celebrate this. So I want these patterns to be closely associated with our faith, as another element of the richness of our faith. My colour choices, once somebody described to me the way I paint as intuitive. And I thought, yes, that is the word that I hadn't had in my vocabulary before. So when I'm painting, I very rarely plan it very carefully. I maybe pick one colour, then another colour and another colour. I don't follow maybe colour theory in a very rigid or formal way. It's something I'm just instinctively doing. So when somebody described my work as do you work intuitively, I was like, yes, this is what I do. It's sort of that indescribable way of letting the journey and the process of creativity be almost like a conversation between myself and the painting. So when I finish one stage, I will put the artwork just against the wall on a shelf and look at it and think, what do I need next? What does the painting need next? And just wait to see if it does need something. My social media has grown a lot over the years. When I first started practicing the art form, maybe there was 3 or 4 artists that I used to follow that practice this art form, and over the years not only has my account and my following increased, so many more artists practice and share their artwork. So I do think I'm part of something bigger, which is an interest of Muslims looking within their own culture and heritage, and other people of different faiths, of no faith, trying to seek out beauty and things that resonate with them, even if they're not Muslim. Because there's a universality to geometry, there's a universality to beauty in pattern and repetition and symmetry. So I think it's something I see many people connect with, regardless of their faith, their nationality, their background. I don't need to have a translator or somebody explaining the artwork to me. It's something I can immediately enjoy and appreciate, and I think that applies to many people. So there's definitely a growing interest in these art forms. The way I work hasn't been such a deliberate plan. I knew that when I started, I wanted to pass on and share what I was learning. And because I was a teacher for so long, I was able to do so confidently and competently. And then the way that this path has evolved and the things that I've been able to do over the last 10 or so years has been really organic. Some things I've tried and I've generated myself, and some things they've just come my way. So when I think of the future and the path that's ahead of me, I think and I hope it'll be something that interests me and excites me on a regular basis. I get to meet more interesting people and do more interesting projects and basically earn a living from this thing which feels like my hobby and my passion. So I hope it's as interesting as it was. I hope it's as interesting as it's been so far for me. I used to be a maths teacher, and it was something I did for 12 years, and it enables you to be able to communicate complex ideas and break them down into simple steps. So geometry, when you draw it, it's all about steps, one by one, drawing an underlying grid, drawing a circle, dividing it into the number you need, then finding certain proportions, and then drawing further lines. So the fact that I get to apply the geometry and apply how I was able to teach to this art form is something I get a lot out of. So, you know, when I describe myself, I love to say I'm an artist and an educator, because this art form, I want to demystify it. I want to be able to explain how clever it is. And sometimes on the appearance of it, you can see it's complex, but if you are able to draw it and step by step build it up, you really understand how clever it is, how beautiful it is, and both of those things go hand in hand. So my teaching experience and my interest in maths, this is almost like an extension of it, an application of it. Maybe I didn't know at the time that I was just practicing for this career. Teaching others is a big motivation for me. I think when you feel you have a purpose in life, it really motivates you. So I don't want to know something about this world of patterns and not pass it on, because it's really important that us as a collective, as Muslims, as not even, you don't have to be of the same faith as me, but we have these things that were done in the past that we still hold on to and pass on to future generations. So for me, teaching others is a really big motivating factor. It's like we're educating ourselves about ourselves in the past, and there's so much information out there and there's so much advances in technology. It's easy to leave behind things that are a little bit older. So it's really important that we don't forget this knowledge that once we had, and we celebrate it, we elevate it, and we share it, and we spread it. The traditional aspects for me come through the mathematics, that the geometry I use is almost very purist. You could say it comes from the Euclidean geometry, which is attributed to the Greeks, but it's something that has existed for many civilizations before the Greeks. You can see it in the architecture of the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Sumerians. So that, in a way, is the tradition that I'm continuing. In terms of the paintings, that's when I really reach out to the contemporary things that are available to me. And I don't practice the traditional techniques of painting. Because I am so careful with the geometry, I give myself the balance of using contemporary materials and methods for my painting. It's really interesting when you exhibit or share your work, because perhaps you have an idea of why you did this and what it means to you and what it represents and all of these things that you associate with a painting. As soon as you share it, all of a sudden many people will take multiple different meanings and see different things in those artworks and in the painting. It's a really fascinating thing to be able to hear about that from other people, either when I've had my work exhibited or when I share it online. So things you don't even consider people see in your artwork, things that you didn't have any intention of showing or representing, people see in your artwork. So I remember people say that about their music when they're musicians, that when you create a song, you hand over the song and it's then up to the listener what they see in the song or hear in the song, the meaning. I think the same applies for artwork. It's really interesting that when you go into a mosque or a place of prayer, and your walls and you're surrounded by these patterns, they don't take away from your prayer. They don't distract you from your prayer. They actually give you somehow the ability to focus. And I think the themes that are often mentioned really resonate with me. So when you look at a pattern, often you're looking for a singular point that is the central part of the pattern, and from there the pattern grows outwardly. So there's the idea that there's the oneness of God being reflected in the geometry, and the way that it spreads across the room, almost, wrapping you in pattern in an infinite sense. That is the wonder of God's creation. So I love the fact that when I go into a place of prayer and I'm surrounded by these patterns enhance my prayer, they enhance my spiritual activities, they don't distract from it, so that it feels very harmonious with my faith. The idea of perfection is such an interesting thing to me. I work with something which requires exactness, and there's a certain rigidity to the patterns, but as a human, I strive for that. It's my goal to reach this excellence, this perfection. Do I reach it all the time, every time? No, I'm human. And the artworks then represent this desire for excellence and our ability to reach it or not reach it. I actually love imperfection. I think that's the elements of me coming through in my artwork. I love the fact that when you see an artwork, if it's imperfect, you know that a human has made it. If it's perfect, we might think, is it AI? Has it been done digitally? Has it been copied? You know, like the perfection for me is maybe taking away from the human element. I love the human element of what we create. So when I work by hand, you know, it's going to be there because you need perfect conditions to draw. You need good eyesight, you need good lighting, you need good tools, you need to command the tools with great excellence and accuracy. So if any of those things aren't up to 100% perfect, then it will come through in your drawing. So perfection is something we strive for, and whether we achieve it, I'm okay with imperfection. And also it's a reminder that, you know, God is perfect. We are just striving for this excellence, and it's striving for this excellence in the past that has maybe brought these patterns to life, that in the past they were trying to excel in this field of study, and that's why we have all these patterns. Through my work, I've really come to realize that so many different people are drawn to these patterns. And when I study the specific things I study, Islamic geometric patterns, time and time again, I find connections to other people, other places, other cultures as well, going back in time. And the message that I feel is really powerful for me is, in times when we're always being divided according to so many different things, sometimes through these patterns I discover that we have a lot more in common than divides us. Regardless of our backgrounds, regardless of where we are in the world, there is something that brings us together when we think of symmetry, pattern, repetition, and geometry. These are things we can observe in the universe. There's a universality about geometry. It's something we can observe on a huge scale in our universe. The way the planets rotate around the sun, the way the moon goes around the earth. We can observe these miracles on a daily basis. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I can see the planets are aligned and I think, is that Mars? Is that Venus? And it makes us realize that this is something humans have been interested in for millennia, as long as humans have existed. And actually in the modern day, in the modern ages, we have so many distractions. We forget that these things are available for us to observe almost every day. The way the position of the sun when it sets, it changes day by day by day. All of these things give you a sense of the universality of geometry, that humans have always been drawn to it, have studied it. And me studying it is just on that continuum. I'm doing the same as people did in the past, perhaps in slightly different ways, and also celebrating what people achieved in the past. So I think the way geometry allows us to connect with humanity over many, many millennia and celebrate this greatness is something that's really special to me.